Riddle me this. Where do all good accessories go? That's right, the lost and found. We'll explain in just a moment. Today we're taking a look at the Riddler. One of the first, I believe I kept saying 4, but the first five villains that were released for Batman the Animated Series. We had the Joker, Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler, and I kept forgetting to mention Two-Face. So those are the first 5 villains released, and we've seen Man-Bat that came towards the end of the first run of the Batman Animated Series. So the Riddler is supposed to have a green cane, and I lost the green cane. I want to say it's probably in a bag somewhere with Robin's glider and a couple of these other things, but I think like Man-Bat's grappling little hook rope thing, I think I did lose it. I hope I'm incredibly wrong, but this is the only accessory, the question mark firing gun thing, which, you know, this isn't something I'm going to pose the Riddler with. The cane fit really well in this hand, or it could have been propped up under this hand that he would have been holding. But I've always really liked this figure, and I liked the incarnation that the Riddler was in the animated series. Got him out of the green leotard and gave him a jacket and a bowler hat. So I very much like this Riddler. One of my favorite incarnations of the Riddler. I think the animated series really kind of personified what a lot of these characters would be. And some of these characters ended up looking this way in the comic books later on, or took their cues from the animated series. Now, I think you could probably tell, hopefully the light is picking it up right, that the green from the jacket and the hat is different from the green in the arms. And it has been that way since day one. So it's not like over these 20 some odd years that the green has changed color. I think it was just a mismatched in color, or they didn't quite get the batch of green right, if I can use that word properly. So I've seen a lot of other Riddlers and other reviews and pictures online, and all of them seem to suffer from this mismatched green. I mean, it's nothing that I'm like, oh, the figure is so ugly, I can't even enjoy it, ugh. It's nothing like that. It's just a little bit of a downer that they didn't get the paint matched right, but the green from the boots does match the green sleeves, so maybe one could argue that the Riddler made his jacket purposely this way to be a two-toned green. I don't think so, but I do believe you could think that if you wish. But a really nice looking figure. It does have the 5 points of articulation. Again, the Riddler does come kind of pre-posed. I should say kind of. He is pre-posed to a point. He can get into a full seated position, a really good seated position, by the way. So he could sit in a type of a vehicle or a desk or the back computer or anything like that. Just good enough. His arm is bent here, so he can turn it around, but again, it goes behind his back, which you could kind of get a nice little pose that way out of him. He does get a little top heavy or back heavy when his hand is back there, but if he had a little base, had his cane here, I think that would be a nice little pose that the Riddler could be in. So get that back around. This arm, again, does move, but it's like, whatever, I don't know. So, sorry about that. So, yeah, some of these poses are a little funny. It does make them look a little bit more dynamic on your shelf. I do get that, as opposed to being just the straight up and down legs, which in arms, I do prefer them this way. But they can be a little bit more animated if they're kind of pre-posed. But I'm glad they left his legs alone for the most part. He does have a slight bend back here, but he can stand fairly well. His feet are a little skinny. So, and this table kind of leans a little bit, so he does want to fall back just a little bit. But a nice looking figure. I like the face sculpt of Edward Nygma. Again, I think Kenner did a really, really good job of nailing the likeness of all of these characters that you could put in the Batman animated series and hold on to this action figure and look at it and go, yep, that's the exact figure, the exact character art from the series. Sometimes they'll put out figures, be it from movies or cartoons, and you go, well, they kind of look right. I mean, they're in the right suit, but the face looks weird. I think all of these figures, I will argue, each and every one looks exactly like the way they should. We do have the Riddler's accessory. We'll throw him in Wayne Manor here, just to do so. And Riddler's gun here. Nice little question mark. I mean, this would be, I guess, a kind of a cool little accessory, if you will, so I can get it to stand in my little base here. But we will fire it at the Riddler, unfortunately. So here we go. And the Riddler was fast enough, you didn't even see him dodge. You didn't think the Riddler was that fast, did you? So again, and I think I just shot this all the way into Wayne Manor, which I think is really nice that I did that. So, oh, almost did. There we go. Apologize for that, folks. So a nice little accessory, and a lot of these will fire really far. My wife and I were kind of playing with them, some of these a couple nights ago when I was getting all these out to get ready to do these long marathon reviews of a lot of us that film reviews. This is probably my 10th or 12th one in a row here, so kind of have to let the camera recharge and come back. So we were firing a lot of these around while we were letting the camera charge. And the Riddler's here was one of the ones that was firing the farthest, a lot more than some of Batman's gadgets. That the spring must be really, really tight in here to get a lot of good distance out of it. But too bad you can't see how high that was. I almost hit the roof of my ceiling in here, which you have no depth to know how tall it is, but let me just tell you, it's tall. So another good figure. I was really glad that they decided to make the Riddler early on in the wave. Now there is a second Riddler. Actually, there's a couple other Riddlers that all share the same body. You get down into the Crime Squad era, or the Batman and Robin, the Adventures of Batman and Robin, the animated series, that they started putting some different pieces on the figures. But there is a new sculpted Riddler from the New Adventures of Batman, and as I keep kicking the camera, I apologize for that, that I didn't pick up that Riddler, so that is one that I'm looking for. So if anybody out there has that particular Riddler, he's in the green bodysuit, and he came with like a little car to drive in. So I think that's one of those, when I saw it, I thought, ooh, that's a little expensive, more than I wanted to spend at the time. You know, maybe in a couple weeks I'll go back to the store, and the store never restocked them, and I missed. So every once in a while I'm on eBay, I'll look up, I think it's called Dragster Dragster Riddler. I can't exactly remember what the name of it is. But that's neither here nor there. This is this Riddler's review, Rob. Let's stay on task for this Riddler. But again, another solid figure from the line. This is always one of those, as we're doing reviews, this is one of the times where we say, oh, if you can go out and find this Riddler, I highly recommend it. You're not going to find it in a store. You're going to have to obviously go to eBay. Amazon does have a lot of these in a box. Some are inexpensive, some are really expensive, depending on who the figure is and maybe just the availability of that particular seller. I think I've seen this one go mint on card in a box for right around 20 bucks. That's where a lot of these figures are kind of setting. So knowing that I paid $6 for this figure back in 1993, that now some people are paying 15 to 20. Sometimes you can find them loose for probably maybe 7 or 8 bucks. So hopefully some of you have these. I have seen some of my friends on YouTube and Facebook that say, oh, I used to have this figure. Oh, I used to have this figure. So I think there was at one point I thought, oh, maybe I'll just sell some of this stuff. But I'm glad I kept it. It makes my shelves look a lot fuller with all these different action figures. But when I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic, I can turn around and look at my Batman the Animated Series collection. And this is one of those figures that I smile and I just really like. And the Riddler episodes were always really fun, especially when they had Robin in them. So as we've been taking a look here at the Riddler as he is listed on the package. So hopefully you have him. If not, maybe try and go out and get him. He could be a little pricey, but he's definitely going to be worth your collection if you're collecting these Batman the Animated Series figures. So, as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogue saying, signing off?